Hickory Motor Speedway is very much hotbed number one for late model stock racing in the United States, whether it's drivers out of Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, or even from past way up north. Yes, I'm talking about you, Ryan Kuhn. They all want to come down to Hickory. They all want to run at Hickory Motor Speedway and win a race at, of course, Hickory Motor Speedway. There is no bigger name in short track racing. It seems like the birthplace of NASCAR stars is here for round number 8 this season in the iRacing Cars Late Model Stock Tour, brought to you by EPI here on Pit Stop TV. Thanks for joining us this evening. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV. I've got Zach Murtis alongside as per usual. Good to have you back, Zach, as we roll into this latest round of the season. It's going to be a quick pre-race. We're still working on one more thing to make sure we are completely up and ready for you. Sometimes that's the way it goes, and hey, take a look. We've got the iRacing.com sim up and on the screen for you this evening. I'm going to go ahead and briefly go through our starting lineup, and then we'll talk a whole lot more about the rest of this race. Ryan Kuhn on pole. Alex McCullum will start from second. Kendrick Cryer, Blake Thronberg. That is your second row. Ahead of your third row, Joel Smith and Josh Cottle. Landon Rapp will start from 7th. Justin Crowe from the 9th position. Actually, Matthew Boniface, a little out of order, will start from 8th. 10th alongside Justin Crowe is Justin Haslett. Then Trayton Lapsevich, Eli Valentine, Tyler DiVinanzo. They're all stacked up back there, but we're getting ready to go green flag racing up out of turn 4. Green flag flies, 50 laps the distance. And already lap 1. I don't know if you saw that, Zach, but we had a big move there between Ryan Kuhn and Alex McCullum. Looks like there's a crash in the back, but we're going to wait for this to kind of pan out before we go back for a replay on that. This is way too good. McCullum down to the inside. No! Oh, my goodness!
No replay needed there, Andrew. We can see everyone stacked up there on the bottom line, and Ryan Kuhn threw a huge block on Alex McCullum. Almost got dumped going into turn 3, lap 1, but McCullum is going to take the lead over Ryan Kuhn, and we are going to get single file racing all the way back to about Joel Smith and Matthew Boniface. And that about settles out your top 6 or top 7 drivers as everyone's going purple on lap 4.
We're going to wait a few more moments, a lap or so before we go back to the replay. But Trayton Lapsevich in trouble. He's back here in 15th spot. Justin Crowe back here in 14th. Josh Cottle also off pace. Not one lap down, unlike Crowe and Lapsevich, though. Cottle is in 13th, just ahead of our race leaders. There's Eli Valentine in the 9 car. And you can see Ryan Kuhn, all over Alex McCullum. It's only lap 6. Let's go back and take a look at what just went on in the background on lap number 1. Looks like we'll go even further back. That was a big part of it, lap 2, but we got to go even further back to really find the issue. This is down into turn 3. And somewhere towards the back here, somebody gets all messed up with Justin Crowe, it looks like. And look at that, 3 cars stacked up in one little spot. And this is one big issue. Then our leaders come around. Here comes McCullum and Ryan Kuhn into turns 3 and 4. And they've got to go to the racetrack right there as Justin Crowe tried to reverse.
And McCullum actually got a little bit of a piece of that, as you get to see our lovely new replay graphic. Absolutely great work there, Andrew, if I do say so. As you know, you saw McCullum there. It looked like a little bit of netcode, and he was able to just take that lead away from Ryan Kuhn. And look at that, Kuhn with a huge block going into 3. That was lap 1 you're looking at right now, and there is the calamity.
It looks like Lapsevich got into Crowe, and Crowe got into Cottle all at the same time. And then it looks like Crowe is trying to reverse here, and I think that's Lapsevich at the racetrack. He comes back down, then Crowe backs up. I mean, you've just got to be aware.
A big old accordion effect really going into turn 1. One car hits another car piles in, and it makes everything just a little bit more
one more look.
Yeah,
a little more crazy. I see. Cottle got into Landon Rapp and stacked all that up, but if you're Justin Crowe here, you've got to be more aware with Alex McCullum and the rest of the field coming up. Here's the onboard from McCullum's perspective, as the lead has not changed, by the way, while we've been in this long replay. I mean, that's just, you can't do that.
Doesn't look like too much left front damage, though, so hopefully McCullum's able to keep that car rolling in one piece and, just keep rolling solid as the sun seems to be coming out a little bit more as McCullum stretches his lead a little bit more over Ryan Kuhn. Air temp 89.7 degrees Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy with a track temp of 116, so a little high. It's going to make the track just a little slick for these guys. Well, I don't think anyone's worrying about it right now, as we got battles going on all over the racetrack with Hickory. It's such an interesting oval, Andrew. It's got so much history and so many different ways that drivers can just excel with their abilities here.
Definitely one of, if not the toughest short track that's been added to iRacing in recent years, that's for sure. So difficult to get around in the absolute right way. Let's take a look at our standings, though, coming into this evening. I want to mention, by the way, Ryan Kuhn, hats off to you, sir. Might have thrown a bad block there to turn 3, but hey, you've got 108 starts. I mean, this is 109 now in this race that we're currently in. That is insane. He's nearly got 100 on Alex McCullum. I think that stands for itself. He's nearly got 90 wins this season on Alex McCullum, and I think that speaks for itself right there. So that's such an insane stat line. We talked a lot about it last week at Martinsville with Gary Weaver. That is just such an insane stat line that it's difficult to come back from that with really anything of substance. As you take a look at the third place battle, we were on board with Landon Rapp with those graphics up briefly, and Landon not able to do anything here yet with the 66 car. And there we go. That changed that.
There you go. Landon Rapp taking over the third spot. Not totally clear coming up off the corner, but he's going to get to the backstretch and be clear, as Joel Smith is now looking to take that spot away, as McCullum is still holding on, trying to hold off Ryan Kuhn on board here with Joel Smith. You can just see his hands on those wheels, and, you know, Joel Smith, obviously a legend car driver. We all know he's got the ability to drive a race car and drive it well, and he's just sitting here rolling through the fifth spot, waiting for these guys to start getting into a few more battles, maybe use their tires up a little bit. We're almost to the halfway point, so it's about time to start thinking about these tires and thinking about how they're going to affect your long-term pace and just be able to really roll these corners. Just, you know, I don't know where I'm going here, Andrew.
Well, this is a really nice view on board. The number 24 car riding in 5th position. While we watch on board here, I want to talk about our race keys for the evening. Mind the bumps. That's a big thing here at Hickory Motor Speedway. Protect the top side. It doesn't look like it, but that is actually a really fast way to get around here, especially in a late model stock car. Now, these iRacing versions of the car, a little more grip. I think they're a little more bottom side dominant, but still, you got to protect that top side if you want to win here. Get spots early. We've seen that take place, and of course, easy on the right front, as I thought I saw. Were Shadows playing games? I mean, I could have sworn for a second I saw a stop car there on the front stretch. I guess not, as everybody continues on. Halfway right there, it clicks off quick. And that was the flag stand. I was looking between monitors. That happens sometimes, but never been confused with a flag stand before.
And Alex McCullum still holding on to a 0.3 of a second lead. We got a battle for the 6th position between Boniface and Hazlitt. Hazlitt is going to try to clear Boniface coming off the corner, but it is still pretty tight, and it looks like he's going to be clear going through turn 2. But Dickinson is right on the bumper of Matthew Boniface going into 3. You can see him backing off just a little bit, just trying to find a good way to get a run off corner exit, or even just maybe use the bumper. We're getting closer and closer to the end of this race, and yeah, we're just seeing how these guys are starting to even out with their passing and just stay single file for majority of the time. As I know Eli Valentine is actually the one car I believe we have out of this race at the moment.
That is correct. Even Trayton Lapsevich still in the race back there in 14th position. Let's take a look at his number 20 as he rolls out of turn 4. There's a look at Justin Crow. Josh Cottle still in the race. Good to see him here today. Unfortunately, things have gone wrong, and you saw him in the standings actually. 8th now in the standings, moving his way up. A long ways to go to Trayton Lapsevich, but a start like this means they're still pretty much on even footing, because Cottle's down there in 12th, Lapsevich in 14th position. A little further up the road, DiVinanzo, Tyler DiVinanzo, a name we've not said at all yet this season. Oh, pounds the wall. Teammates here with Trayton Lapsevich. Was running down Blake Thronberg, but now the EPI number 22 starting to drive back away after that big wall contact.
And one thing we actually, I feel like we need to look at when we're looking at the points, Andrew, is that Ryan Kuhn, he has 95 starts this season. 95 starts. Alex McCullum only with 12 starts.
95 wins. He's got 108 starts.
Excuse me. I got the graphic mixed up a little bit. 108 starts. Even more impressive. 95 wins out of those 108 starts. That's a win percentage of, what, upwards of 90%? That would put him in a good bracket, but he's only 32 points ahead of Alex McCullum. Even the drop weeks have actually not gone into effect yet, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. So this is race number 8. They have 4 drops. That means this is the last race where all races, or I guess the last round where all races will count, or I guess all weeks will count. So after this round at Hickory, once we start racing next week at Lanier Raceplex in Braselton, Georgia, that's when we'll start seeing the drop take effect, and we'll get a real idea of where this championship stands. Right now, that is no drops in effect, and that might actually, I think like you're alluding to, spell some trouble for Ryan Kuhn.
Yeah, especially with a couple of weeks ago at Southern National. Oh, Ryan Kuhn actually just hit the wall, I think, didn't he?
Briefly, yeah. Bit of a slap there, but it keeps going.
And he's sliding around a little bit, just trying to keep the tires on those things as we're nearing the end of this race now. Ryan Kuhn, obviously, he had a slight hiccup at Southern National, had some packet loss, had to be able to reconnect to the session, missed his qualifying, had to work his way back up through the field, and is just trying to find the ability to be able to keep rolling with this points lead. And obviously, with the amount of wins he has, I don't think his drop week is going to affect him too much, but honestly, you never know. Especially with McCullum now looking poised to take this win as we're rolling up on 11 laps to go, and they've got a little bit of lap traffic up there in front of them. And
that, I believe, is going to be Josh Cottle first up, and yes, it will be. There you see Josh Cottle, 10 laps to go this time by. It'll be 11 for him, but 10 for the race leaders. Now, I think the easy connection to be made here is Alex McCullum runs for the shop, which is now part of Elite Performance Industries, at least this season, powered by the shop. Josh Cottle is a setup builder that I believe came over with the shop for EPI. So definitely, I think, an alliance there. The 13 should absolutely play nicely here for the one car. I'm not saying that anything else is going to happen. I don't think any team orders are in effect, but I think certainly Josh Cottle will play nicely here when Alex McCullum won't get in the way of a big-time win for car number one as these laps click off so quickly here at Hickory Motor Speedway. Glad you're joining us. I know it goes quick. It's only 8:35. We're almost done.
Yeah, only about 7 laps to go once we hit back to the line. We've got Eli Valentine 27 laps down out of this race. Williamson in the 11. He is 11 laps down. Only having 11 cars on the lead lap right now. Alex McCullum leading this field by just over half a second over Ryan Kuhn. Landon Rapp in the 3rd spot. Kendrick Cryer and Joel Smith bringing up the top 5. It's just been an easygoing race for McCullum. A little bit of a
well, after lap 5, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, after lap 5. He's just been rolling. He's expanding his lead a little bit more, almost 6/10. But here comes the lap car of Josh Cottle. And
up out of the way.
Move over, stay to the right-hand side, and through goes McCullum. But here comes Ryan Kuhn. He's got to make quick work.
On board with Josh Cottle, he drops back down into the bottom line right in front of the 72. Now, I don't think this is going to have any effect on the race win, and yeah, sure enough, Josh Cottle gets up out of the way, actually into the fence. He allows a couple of cars to go by. There goes Landon Rapp in the same corner, and by the way, Landon Rapp, a really promising legend star in recent years, really flexing his muscle in this race in particular, and lately on iRacing, he has really made a name for himself in several leagues. I think really embracing sim racing finally, and it's cool to see a little bit of crossover there, I guess.
It's great to see a lot of these short track drivers just indulging more in iRacing and realizing that there's a lot of good potential for them as we hit the white flag presented by Whiplash Sim Cams at 0.8 of a second lead over Ryan Kuhn. Alex McCullum down the backstretch for the final time.
And this time, up out of turn number 4, that is a W for car number 1, Alex McCullum to victory lane in Hickory, North Carolina. We'll get our full results here in a moment. Josh Cottle finishes 11th. Final car in the lead lap will be Tyler DiVinanzo, and there you go, the final few cars across the start-finish line. But there is Alex McCullum, big race winner this evening. No surprise that car number 1 goes to victory lane, if I'm being entirely honest. He's just been so good this season. It is a surprise. It's not a surprise that McCullum won. It is a surprise that Kuhn lost, I think. Is that fair to say?
I think it's fair to say. I think going through the later half of the season, I feel like McCullum has been a lot stronger than Ryan Kuhn. Just overall, really, he won Southern National. I was not available for Martinsville, so I wasn't able to see who won that one, but I'm sure it was either
Ryan Kuhn.
Ryan Kuhn, thank you. I'm sure it was either Kuhn or McCullum. So nice to know it was Ryan Kuhn. But McCullum has just been so strong in the second half of the season, and he's been really able to just close that points lead. Looking through your results here, Andrew, I'm just going to hand this one over to you.
Alex McCullum, P1. Ryan Kuhn about a second off. Landon Rapp another 0.3. Then Kendrick Cryer, 4th place. He's also been very quietly in the top 5 every single week. I know Kendrick is just grinding away. Big time props there to Kendrick Cryer this season. He has just properly been grinding away week after week, getting what he can, and is in the conversation as a result. How about Joel Smith making the split this evening? Looks like no Legend Racing for him then in that opening SOF race. Justin Hazlitt, 6th place. Spencer Dickinson, 7th. Matthew Boniface, 8th. Another Legends driver that I would not have expected to see in this race, alongside Blake Thronberg and Tyler DiVinanzo, your top 10. Your back 5, Josh Cottle, Justin Crow, Trayton Lapsevich, Chase Williamson, Eli Valentine dead last in this race. Alex McCullum already ready to talk to us, and that is the way we like it. Quick to the broadcast booth as well as quick to the checkered flag here, Alex. Another win for you this season. And, well, you at least keep Ryan Kuhn from getting 100 wins on you for a little bit longer. He's been running a lot of races, you not so much, and yet here you guys are battling for the championship. How do you go the rest of the week here and try and get some extra points?
Honestly, it's probably... I might just run 1 or 2 more. I'm not too big about running officials. I'm more of like a league racing kind of guy, but damn, that race was intense, like for the first 5. I didn't mean to turn right on Ryan, but that was like the only chance I had to get by that lap car. So my apologies to get into Ryan there, but that was my only chance getting around that car.
Obviously a tough situation in a D-Class series when there's a crash on lap 1. Those guys are pitted against the pit wall, and they're just trying to get back on the racetrack. And unfortunately, it had a big-time effect on you leaders and maybe blew up that battle that we could have seen go on a little bit longer. I guess first, would you have liked to see that battle go on, or are you happy to get out of here with the win? Secondly, does this series need to reevaluate potentially D-Class versus C-Class?
I mean... I felt like me and Ryan were really close, so I think it would have been a heck of a battle. So, I mean, me and him always race fairly clean and with a lot of respect. So, I mean, we would have put a show on for everybody watching. It's just a bad situation there with that lap car backing up. It just you kind of got to do what you got to do to get on that wreck, so you're not involved in the wreck. But I mean, overall, it was a good race. I mean, fairly everybody, the top 3 were on the same pace. It's just in that track position.
Well, Alex, another big win for you this season. 49 laps led. What's on the docket? What do you have for league races? I know you're headed off to the ITZR race coming up in a couple minutes, right?
Yes, sir. And then on Thursday nights, I got Sarah with these cars. So I usually run ITZR Mondays right after this, and then Sarah on Thursdays.
Well, hey, a big shout out to those guys at ITZR. I was able to join them for their Tuesday race last week. I'm sure they'll have a fun one. Where are you guys going in a couple minutes?
We're going to Nashville. I don't know if we're going to the mini oval or the big oval, but I just know we're going to Nashville.
Well, regardless, have a bunch of fun there. Best of luck to you, Alex.
Thank you.
Alex McCullum, another big week here in the late model stock cars on iRacing.com. And Zach, it's going to be a fun battle, that's for sure. Now, technically 8 weeks in, pending the finish of this 8th week in nearly a week's time, but you can see how things are going to change. McCullum with this big win, and we haven't seen Daniel Folds, I think, in a single SOF split yet this season. Is that going to change, maybe, or does he keep running Legends? It's hard to say, but he's putting up a solid points effort even without running these SOF races. I think that is worth taking note of. Guys like Harbert's not in the race this evening. Definitely an odd round. Didn't even see Aaron Plemons in the field tonight, but we did see guys like Joel Smith. We did see Matthew Boniface. We did see Chase Williamson, Tyler DiVinanzo. So some interesting names joining the field.
Absolutely, and you can see just looking at the points, it's so close throughout the rest of the field. Aside from Ryan Kuhn and Alex McCullum, they have walked the rest of the field. And looking forward, we've only got 4 races left. We've got Lanier, New Smyrna, Nashville, and Lakeland. 2 of those tracks being tracks that late model stock cars have been to before, and the other 2 just being tracks that are a little off to the side, but still hold a candle to tracks that late model stock cars are normal to. And it's just going to be so interesting, especially going to Lanier. That's one of my favorite places to go, and even just the super late models here on the service. It's got a lot of good aspects to it that make racing so good there, and it's just going to be, I think that's going to be one track that's going to be beneficial to someone like Ryan Kuhn or Alex McCullum. Even though they've been dominating the season so far, it's if one of them gets out in front of Lanier, I think it's just going to be an absolute domination between the two of them.
We'll have to wait and see. 4 really good tracks coming up for the back third of the schedule. Glad you've joined us thus far. You've got to stick around. May 8th, May 15th, May 22nd, and May 29th. 4 races to go, broadcast here on Pit Stop TV, all brought to you by Elite Performance Industries. And by the way, glad that young Grayson Payne was able to escape a pretty gnarly crash in kart racing this past weekend without injury. In fact, he's playing in his baseball game this evening. A shout out to the entire Payne family. I know that was a rough weekend for them. Definitely always tough the first time that kind of thing happens. And yeah, dirt kart racing, it's dangerous. And Grayson Payne, unfortunately, was in a crash, but fortunately is okay. Walked away, from what I can tell at least, was evaluated, released, all that. Grayson is okay, and that is what you want to hear. So a big shout out to everybody over there, and glad that all worked out for the Payne family. But Zach, that'll do it for us this evening. Final thoughts here from Hickory?
Just always a great track for producing so much great racing. It produced a lot of good battles tonight. We also had a little bit of a kerfuffle in turn 4.
Yeah.
That almost resulted in race ending for 2 of the fastest cars out here on track, but ultimately just great. You know, I'm excited for next week and the weeks following for the rest of the season, and it's just so great to see people just being super adamant about being involved in short track racing, even if it's just on iRacing. And so many great things coming up here on Pit Stop TV as well. I mean, you look forward to, honestly, it's not here on the broadcast schedule, but I do want to mention it. We here at Pit Stop TV have been involved with trying to get a lot of good stuff going on with the short track community. We've got a Legends League coming up here. I believe that the first rate date is it's either tomorrow or in the next couple of weeks, if I'm not mistaken, Andrew.
May 9th, we're going racing. Still a few things to iron out. I think those will be announced tonight, tomorrow, soon. Hashtag soon. It's definitely felt that way for sure. But we'll get that all out. That'll be in the Legends, iRacing Legends Discord. So that'll be a lot of fun to get going. It'll be a pretty quiet, small thing to start. But yeah, we're excited to get that up off the ground. But then Wednesday evening, of course, this week, May the 3rd, we go UFL Elite Series Racing at Kansas Speedway for, I want to say, 133 laps. It might be 94 laps. I'm not sure. It might be either a 200 or a 250. I'm not sure. It'll be one of those numbers, somewhere around 100 laps or so, for the final playoff elimination race before we go championship racing next week at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Some must-see racing for the UFL Elite Series for sure at 9 Eastern. Then Thursday, we continue on with the brand new North American Racing League Porsche Cup Season number 3. They are going to Imola. So Italy, round number 2 for them. Before Sunday, we actually have a double header. We go to Suzuka Circuit with the Sim Pit Radical Series at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Then in the evening, we go racing at Kansas Speedway again, but with the Shake and Bake Racing Butt Kicker Cup Series. Yes, they are back. They've been gone since Las Vegas, but they've been racing in this time, and they're back on Pit Stop TV for another little check-in in their season as we build for the summer, and a whole lot of storylines there. And of course, here for these late models, we go to Lanier Raceplex next Monday evening on May the 8th, I believe that is. Yes, May the 8th. And it all kind of comes full circle and continues on. Make sure to tune in for all these broadcasts and see all kinds of Pit Stop TV social media updates at our social media links down below. Facebook.com/PitStopTV, Instagram.com/pit_stop, there we go, _TV, Twitter.com/PitStopTV_, and of course YouTube there. Just search Pit Stop TV. You'll find us. Blue and yellow kind of theme here, and you'll find our broadcast. And that is like a good thing. You want to find our broadcasts when it comes to iRacing league coverage, that's for sure. Zach, thanks for joining us once again. It was a pleasure as always. Good to have you back in the fold here for these late model races. But we will see you next time. A big shout out before we go to those who make it happen for us in audio, ATVO, Whiplash, SimCams, OBS, and iRacing.com. We'll see you next time.